Today I got the Fool card, and my connection with this card, I always used to think was honestly misunderstood. And then I started to realize all the many moments in my life that I have had that were completely the Fool. And honestly, I think this card is misunderstood as much as the Death card, really, in tarot. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the very fact that I'm on YouTube is very much a Fool moment. It's very much this is out of my norm, this is out of my comfort zone, and I'm just gonna go for it. The very fact that I'm doing this challenge is a Fool moment for me. And then I started thinking back to all of the moments in my life where I have shown this bravery that I think I quite honestly underestimated. And the first one that comes to mind is when I went to Japan as a foreign exchange student. I traveled across an ocean and flew by myself at the age of 15 without a chaperone to stay in a foreign country for 3 months. And I was actually supposed to go back and spend my entire junior year in Osaka. But when I returned, because my first foreign exchange was in Naha, Okinawa, and when I returned from Okinawa about a few weeks later, 9/11 happened, and so they stopped all student trade, that sounds really weird, student exchange for that year. So, and the program basically was, if you were to spend your junior year as a foreign exchange student, junior year was literally the only year that you could do it, because senior year you had to be home for requirements for graduation. So that made it so that I couldn't complete that process, but I still had the experience of going to Japan when I was 15 and going to a foreign country and spending 3 months there and going to school there and having all of these different experiences and this immersion of the language that I knew a basic amount about, but I still had a lot to learn, and I wasn't anywhere close to fluent. And I will tell you, to this day, immersion is the best way to learn a language, in my opinion, especially if you're an adult, because we know that children being taught more than one language as they're growing up is insanely beneficial. But I look back on that, and I look at that and I think, man, that was one of those moments in my life where I was astoundingly brave. And now that I'm a parent, I think I definitely look back on it, and I'm just like, how did my parents let me do that? I don't understand it, because like I said, when I flew from Seattle to Japan, I didn't have a chaperone. I flew by myself, and I had to have a connection in Osaka before I could fly down to Okinawa. And yeah, it was just crazy. But that experience is one of the more defining experiences in my lifetime so far for how it shaped me as going into adulthood. The other experience that comes to mind when I think about this card is, when I think about the Fool, is the fact that my marriage was built on meeting my husband on World of Warcraft. We got to know each other through being in a guild together, and we spent a lot of time just chatting and being good friends and really connecting with each other face to face through webcam chat eventually, but mostly just through talking while playing the game together. And the experiences that I had with that were pretty crazy because honestly, I didn't want to leave Washington. I'm still very homesick for Washington. I'm wearing a North Cascades National Park shirt right now. Like, in the last few videos you guys have seen, I'm usually wearing a hoodie that says Seattle on it. Like, I love my home, and I am so homesick most of the time. Not to say that I don't love Minnesota, but that's a completely different conversation. But it just goes to show you guys, at least, it brings about the amount of bravery that it took for me to leave everything in the pursuit of what I felt was the love of my life. And this fall, we will be celebrating 13 years together and 8 married. So we have a house together, we have 2 children. I absolutely don't regret any of it, even if it did come with some prices of not being around my family as much, which became more of a sting after my mother's passing last year. But the story of my going to really just jumping forth into the unknown with my relationship with my now husband is the fact that I was very apprehensive to do anything online long distance, but I felt a connection with this person that I couldn't ignore, and I definitely took that leap. And basically we became friends in the spring and summer of 2006, and by the winter it was very apparent that we had feelings for each other. And so I had bought a ticket. He was actually supposed to come out at the end of January 2007 for my birthday. That was supposed to be the time that we were supposed to meet in person for the first time. And then when our feelings developed a little bit more right after Thanksgiving, I had decided that I would use my Christmas money to buy a ticket and come out over New Year's so I could figure out what this connection was between us. And it was one of those things where they say that you don't know that you're in love until you've experienced it. And I do think that's quite true, at least in the case of me. When people are like, well, I don't really know if I love this person. I knew I loved him. I absolutely knew I loved him. But you know, you're still just like, this is a new relationship, what do I do, blah, blah, blah. That's beside the point. I'm trying my best to keep on track here. So, we had gone back and forth seeing each other a few times throughout the winter and spring of 2007, and then by the summer of 2007, I had moved out here to Minnesota very suddenly, and by the fall of 2007, we had our first apartment together, and that was it. And like I said, now almost 13 years later, and 2 kids and a house, I wouldn't change anything for the world, but I can't tell you the amount of courage that took for me to do that. And I very much just leapt. I jumped right into it, and it's so scary for me to do that kind of stuff. I can honestly be a very cautious person. I like stability, and again, I'll get all astrological on you guys, but I know that's because of my Cancerian moon. I'm very much I need stability person, but there's also some past hurts that have created that as well. So, but I just kind of wanted to talk about the Fool because I started thinking about it a lot today, thinking, why did I get that card today? I honestly don't really know why I got that card today. And I'll probably do another video where I kind of talk about interpreting daily draws. That is something that I do want to discuss. So that's probably going to be one of the other videos that's going to come up soon in this daily challenge. But I am on day 19, and I'm honestly surprised I'm still doing this. I really am, and I am really determined to finish this, and I'm really determined to keep going. And this is another one of those, the Fool energy. I contemplated this for a little bit, thinking, can I really do this? It's hard enough for me to get alone time because I have 2 young kids and I'm a stay-at-home mom, and that's hard right now. But somehow I've managed to do this for 19 days. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I'm doing it, and keeping a promise to myself is huge for me, but also embracing that we're just going to do this. We're just going to go for it. That full energy of, guys, I'm leaping off this cliff and I don't even care. We're just going for it. And I think I underestimate my ability to do this kind of stuff. I think I underestimate my bravery sometimes. And I think that's an act of self-love, is to look at yourself and think, damn, I actually was a badass in that situation. It's okay to think that way, guys. It's okay to see yourself and just be like, God, I just walked right in there and I just laid down the law, or I took what I needed, or, you know, sometimes we have to do that for ourselves. And I was really struggling with what to talk about today. I really was. And then suddenly it hit me. And I started thinking about my daily card, and I started thinking about my fool moments. And I thought, you know what? This right here, this daily challenge, this whole freaking channel, this is a fool moment for me. This is me leaping off this damn cliff and just going for it. And you know what? I'm really damn proud of myself.